Something shifted on YouTube this week that no one can quite make sense of. Channels that lost monetization months back, channels that filed appeals and got turned down, channels whose owners had completely moved on, are now opening their inboxes to messages saying their revenue has been restored. No statement from YouTube, no press release, just money silently flowing again. And what this reveals about where YouTube actually stands on AI-generated content is something every single creator needs to understand right now. Let's rewind to how this whole thing started. Back in July 2025, YouTube quietly rebranded their repetitious content policy and called it the inauthentic content policy, a minor label swap that barely anyone caught at the time. Then, January 2026 hit, and YouTube swung hard. 16 large channels wiped out in a single night. 35 million subscribers vanished. 4.7 billion views scrubbed from the platform. Roughly $10 million in yearly earnings gone. And that was only the opening move. Once those major channels were taken down, YouTube's automated system didn't slow down. Thousands of smaller creators began getting hit with demonetization notices. No heads up, no real reason given, just a blanket, inauthentic content tag stamped on channels people had put months or even years into growing. This is where things get seriously troubling. Creators followed the process YouTube laid out. They submitted appeals, and every single one came back denied, not by a person, but by the exact same AI that pulled their monetization in the first place. The algorithm that got it wrong was also the one deciding whether it got it wrong. X, formerly Twitter, filled up with panicked creators calling YouTube out in public. A letter that spread widely across the platform read something like this: creators across the globe have had their monetization stripped under a murky, inauthentic content flag. No notice, no clarity, no human eyes on it, no real path to challenge it. How did YouTube respond to the uproar? With automated messages. People bleeding thousands of dollars every month were getting generic, copy-pasted replies from a bot. The anger that spread online was something the creator world had never quite witnessed before. Then this week, out of nowhere, things flipped. Scroll through X right now, and you will see it. Real people, real channels, channels that were flagged, appealed, denied, and left hanging for months, are suddenly getting their monetization switched back on with zero explanation. No message explaining the reversal. No public statement, no admission that the system got it wrong. Just the earnings quietly turned back on overnight. Here's the detail that matters most. Look at which channels are being brought back. These are not just traditional face-on-camera creators. Channels running AI voiceovers. Channels built entirely around AI-written scripts. Fully faceless AI-driven channels, all getting restored this week. YouTube has not released a single word officially explaining any of it. So, what is really happening beneath the surface? Here's my read on the situation. YouTube's enforcement system overcorrected badly. It was designed to root out pure AI garbage, bulk-generated, copy-paste, no-thought content mills, and it did flag some of those. But it also swept up thousands of real creators who had nothing to do with that kind of content. Reports put the false positive rate on YouTube's AI detection at roughly 20%. That is 1 out of every 5 flagged channels that had no business being flagged. And since appeals kept getting auto-denied, those errors just kept stacking up. The backlash online got loud enough that eventually someone inside YouTube with the power to act took a real look and chose to manually go through cases and restore channels that the system had wrongly penalized. What you are watching unfold on X right now is that manual correction in action. Not a new policy, not an official walkback, just YouTube quietly cleaning up the mess their own system made. Now here's the single most critical point of this entire video. A YouTube spokesperson went on record confirming that the channel removals were tied to spam and deceptive behavior, not to the use of AI itself. The platform's head of creator liaison made it publicly clear that YouTube fully supports creators who use AI as part of their workflow, and that channels built with AI tools are still completely eligible to earn money. The real line was never AI versus human. It has always come down to genuine value versus lazy, disposable content. Bulk output, zero perspective, recycled formats with no original thinking.